today's news, copper thieves to blame for one of the two recent major fires at dumpsite, and Health Ministry monitoring monkeypox global development. And former Premier gave instructions to file for injunction, says Silk Legal, and HireBVI Career Exposition 2022 considered a success. Now viewers, these and more stories when 284 News returns.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, I can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What do you really? Hey, this ain't like you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out that trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Well, welcome everyone. It's Friday, May 27th, 2022. Yes, we are approaching the weekend. I'm Kamal Haynes coming to you live from the beautiful British Virgin Islands. Well, a happy Friday to one and all, and thank you so much for joining us. Well, we start today's newscast with an update on the recent Puckwood Pond fires, where the Department of Waste Management will be enhancing security measures at the Puckwood Pond dump site after one of the two most recent major fires has been linked to the actions of copper thieves. Well, Minister for Health and Social Development Honorable Marlon Penn made that disclosure during Thursday's sitting of the House of Assembly in his update to the public. Well, it was in relation to fires that occurred on the evening of May 16th and the morning of May 22nd.
Fortunately, no one was injured, nor were there any damages to public or private equipment on site. I am sadly aware, however, that smoke from the fires may have been a source of discomfort to residents on the western side of Tortola. While the exact cause of the dump site fire that occurred on the 16th of May has not been established, the Department of Waste Management has uncovered evidence of persons illegally accessing the dump site after hours and using blowtorches or similar devices to retrieve copper and other metals from discarded items. Given the high concentrations of methane gas on site, any form of intense heat applied in close proximity increases the likelihood of fires erupting.
Well, Minister Penn appealed to those persons involved in such acts to cease and desist at once, adding that measures will be taken to boost security measures at the facility to prevent further similar instances.
Your actions are not only detrimental to the safe operations at the dump site, but also have a damaging impact on the wider community. Addressing this issue also requires a more proactive approach. I will therefore be seeking additional resources to put towards enhanced security measures, such as reinstalling security cameras throughout the property and providing security guard coverage after operation hours. I would also like to remind everyone listening that solid waste disposal facility at Puckwood Pond is open to the public daily from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. Only operators contracted to the government to collect residential waste will be allowed to enter the facility after 4 p.m.
Well, meanwhile, the minister also revealed that the second fire was caused by spontaneous combustion at the site. He said to minimize such incidents from reoccurring, measures will be taken to increase daily supervision at the Puckwood Pond facility.
Turning to the fire that occurred on the 22nd of May, 2020. Madam Speaker, the Department of Waste Management has determined that it resulted from spontaneous combustion when garbage delivered to the site that had not yet been processed became ignited by hot spots smoldering underground. Madam Speaker, in order to reduce the incidence of spontaneous combustions at the dump site, I am seeking additional resources to meet the need for adequate daily supervision of the operations on site. We are also seeking to divert a largest volume of combustible materials from the waste stream by expanding our recycling programs in collaboration with HireBVI and other partners.
Well, moving on to our next story, where the Ministry of Health is presently monitoring the emerging presence of monkeypox across the globe to ensure that the territory is prepared to detect and respond to the virus should it reach the British Virgin Islands. The Minister for Health, Honorable Marlon Penn, updated the territory on his ministerial approach to developing virus during Thursday's House of Assembly sitting. Well, he said despite that the present likelihood of the virus reaching the territory is low, measures will be taken to ensure the BVI is ready in the event that it does arrive in the BVI.
The Ministry of Health will coordinate the dissemination of information to agencies involved in port health and animal quarantine, as well as healthcare providers and regional counterparts. Many of the specific recommended actions from CARPA are in place in the BVI and strengthened in our response to COVID-19. Madam Speaker, although the likelihood of monkeypox spread in our community is currently low, the Chief Medical Officer and the officials and other officials will continue to monitor the situation and ensure that the territory is prepared to detect and respond to any cases as needed, and will keep the community informed of any change in the situation.
Well, viewers, Minister Penn said that there remains the risk of monkeypox reaching the Caribbean region due to daily travel from countries that have already detected the virus, while he called on regional bodies to heighten their surveillance and monitoring capacity to ensure quick detection of the virus should it arrive in the region.
Awareness is being raised among healthcare workers and port health authorities across the region to ensure that adequate prevention and control measures are in place. There needs to be a heightened communicable disease surveillance and monitoring of any reported cases of rash-like illnesses accompanied by fever. People with monkeypox initially develop symptoms such as exhaustion, fever, headaches, backache, muscle ache, chills, and swollen lymph glands. Rashes also develop within 1 to 3 days of fever onset. Firstly on the face, and then on the hands, feet, and other parts of the body. Symptoms can last 2 to 4 weeks, and severity depends on age. More severe disease occurs in young children. Monkeypox is similar to smallpox, and smallpox vaccine offers some protection. However, smallpox vaccine is not widely available and is no longer on the immunization schedule. Any guidance will be provided by PAHO or WHO on the matter as necessary.
But the health minister also revealed that the Caribbean Public Health Agency is presently in dialogue with international health agencies to develop testing capacity for the virus in the Caribbean.
Testing for monkeypox is currently not available in the Caribbean, and the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPA, is reportedly in discussions with PAHO and the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, CDC, to assess its capacity to develop this testing capability. In due course, it is expected that CARPA will inform member states when the capability is available and how samples will be handled.
Meanwhile, the minister also provided some details on the current monkeypox situation on the global scene, revealing that some 12 countries have been affected with a total of 92 confirmed cases.
The first case in this outbreak was announced on May 7, 2022, by the United Kingdom Health Security Agency. The initial patient is thought to have contracted the infection during a recent travel to Nigeria from May 6th and 20th. There were 20 persons confirmed to have monkeypox in England. Since then, monkeypox cases have been reported outside of England in at least 11 other countries: Australia, Belgium, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, Sweden, and the United States of America. A technical advisory group at the WHO held an emergency meeting on Friday, May 20th, 2022, to discuss the current monkeypox outbreak situation. It was reported that the World Health Organization recognizes that further spread is likely and countries should take precautions.
Well, viewers, up next, former Premier gave instructions to file injunction, said Silk Legal, and HireBVI Career Expo 2022 considered a success. But these and more stories after a word from our sponsors.
The beautiful Virgin Islands, or nature's little secret as some prefer, where the weather stays warm and the drinks stay cold, where men in wigs get their lawyer bills paid by governments and governments lose planes, where walls are built and prisoners escape. You vacation where we suffer. BVI love.
You value traditions. Today. You value music. You value education. Family. I love you. Service.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day. Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting. For people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you. We're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, law firm Silk Legal has claimed that it was the former Premier Andrew Foy who instructed them to file the injunction matter against the Commissioner of Inquiry and his 3 attorneys. Well, Silk Legal was the legal representation for the former Speaker of the House of Assembly, Mr. Julian Willock, during the Commission of Inquiry hearings, where the injunction was quickly discontinued after Justice Adrian Jack had indicated to Willock and his attorneys that the Attorney General's permission was needed to proceed with the case. Well, the claim by Silk was filed as a submission to the Special Select Committee of the House of Assembly, which was established to decide whether Willock would be made to pay the legal bill of approximately $106,000 or whether the taxpayers through the government's purse would be responsible. Well, viewers, in the letter, Silk Legal said, and I quote, We at Silk Legal, BVI Inc. were instructed verbally and on multiple occasions by the then Premier and Minister for Finance, the Honorable Mr. Andrew A. Foy, to file for an injunction against the COI lawyers who were acting in criminal breach of the Legal Professions Act 2015. It added, in fact, we received numerous phone calls directly from the then Premier directing that the matter be filed without delay. It should be borne in mind that the Premier signed a contract under which we acted, end quote. But the letter further claimed that the the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Neville Smith, also reached out to Willock regarding the injunction. Well, it said, and I quote, the Honorable Speaker also indicated that he received a telephone call from the Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Neville A. Smith, that the then Premier had instructed him to ask the then Speaker to instruct Silk Legal BVI Inc. to file for this injunction, end quote. But the letter was signed by attorneys Daniel Davies and Richard Rowe. Well, just yesterday, it was reported that Willock will have to pay just over $106,000 out of his pockets for the legal fees incurred during his discontinued injunction case. with this after the Special Select Committee concluded that the former speaker's action was not deemed warranted and was without merit. Well, moving on, viewers, where early today, the job seekers from all across the territory met with prospects seeking career and educational opportunities. Reigning Miss BVI, Caitlin Archibald, was the featured guest speaker. We'll take a look.
Today, I'm going to talk about hitting the wall. You know what I'm talking about. When your eyes start itching from being awake too long, your body is begging you to go to sleep, and you feel your brain starting to shut down. But you're working on something that just has to get done. What is going to keep you going, even if it feels like it's not worth the fight? Well, here are 5 things that I found helpful when I hit the wall. The first thing I always remember is that we are a perseverant people. Through hurricanes and floods and global economic crashes, we have carried on. Even when our physical environment was demolished to rubble, we kept our heads down and we worked. Now, I would argue that this is already exemplary. It is my favorite thing about us, our tenacity, and the easiest thing to brag on us about. Without electricity, we cooked and washed and ate and worked. We've seen it in our lifetimes with a natural disaster sandwich, as I call it. The back-to-back hurricanes, Irma and Maria in 2017, and this global pandemic that struck in early 2020. Then, there was also the financial crash of 2008, and the financial crash of 2020. We've heard it from our parents as they built new industries for the Virgin Islands in financial services and tourism. We hear it from our grandparents and their parents because they built a foundation for us to springboard off of. We can see it even in our history. Our forefathers pioneered sailing methods and boat building to get us where we needed to go. If the voice of doubt is hitting you, you are not alone in wanting to stop. Everyone has that thing inside of them that tells them to halt working on what needs to get done. I'm too tired. It's too hard. I'm too broke. Nobody is going to like what it is that I am doing.
Well, Honorable Melvin Mitch Turnbull, the newly appointed Minister for Labor and Workforce Development, also addressed the audience.
Where I think it was just the first year of 2016 thereabout when Rakima and her team came and said, you know, I'm launching my business and we're going to be down at the Moorings and I need you to come speak because you have helped to encourage me in pursue my dreams, and to see where she and her team has taken this vision and her mission to ensure that persons within the territory of the Virgin Islands are able to find employment and partner with so many persons and so many employers through this territory is amazing. So I want us to please give Rakima and her team a round of applause. I don't plan to speak too long, but I plan to say a few words that would help us to understand where we are heading within labor, within employment, within this territory. I know some of the difficulties and challenges that you are all facing regarding some areas under my responsibility, specifically work permits, specifically being able to get information on time. I am saying this and I am saying this the only way I know how. Those issues that you have will be addressed immediately.
Well, the HireBVI team also took the opportunity to officially declare the event open and thank their supporting sponsors.
It's my great pleasure to welcome you to HireBVI's annual career exposition under the theme Show Me the Way, a roadmap to employment. This career exposition opens the lines of communication between employers and job seekers. Employers are able to educate the public on their different service offerings, as well as talk about what are their requirements for prospective employees. Job seekers, on the other hand, have the distinct privilege of being able to meet some of their prospective employers, put some faces behind the names of these organizations. They're also able to understand, what are you truly looking for? What can I do to become a part of your team? HireBVI aims to be the bridge between employers and job seekers. And this is, of course, evidenced through this career exposition and everything that we would have done in preparation. We would have hosted a career readiness workshop as well as a clothing drive.
Well, viewers, up next, Premier calls out radio personality for false claims, and District want to host mingle event. Well, we get to those two stories after a word from our sponsors.
Hello?
Wait, you had a lunch and care? You say you were sick? What happened to our wedding rehearsal?
No, babe. I'm actually watching the news right now. Take a listen.
Topping our newscast today, UFOs seen around Tortola Pier Park.
And District 3 residents outraged over no water supply. They simply cannot bathe. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
Alright, babe, just get some rest, take two Advil, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Okay, honey. I see you later. I love you.
It's clear to see that Coconut Lounge is a place to be, the coolest cocktail lounge in the British Virgin Islands. A lounge like no other, with welcoming, professional service, and a breathtaking ambiance. Not forgetting a diverse selection of wines, beers, and signature cocktails. Cozy, comfortable, contemporary. Coconut Lounge at Tortola Pier Park. Visit us today. Brilliant Hands and Minds tutoring services, one-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Welcome back, viewers. Well, Premier and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, has called out a radio personality for maliciously indicating that he issued an $80,000 contract, stating he is very concerned about the, and I quote, reckless dissemination of inaccurate information, end quote, by some media personalities in the territory. Well, Premier Wheatley made the comments on Tuesday while delivering a statement to the territory as he denounced the false allegations.
I also want to encourage you and encourage everyone to be positive as we look toward the future. As a community, we must be supportive of one another. It does not help any of us to spew untruths about the government of national unity as we take steps to drive reform forward. For example, just a few days ago, there was a false report by a radio personality that I gave someone an $80,000 contract to advance a GIS public television program. This is not true, and I call on members of the media and public to be responsible at this time when we need calm and to maintain stability.
Well, the Premier also said that he plans to hold a meeting with the relevant media stakeholders to address his concerns about the violation of journalistic principles as displayed by some media personalities.
I'm very concerned generally about the reckless dissemination of inaccurate information and the violation of journalistic principles well accepted across democracies across the world. Given that this subject falls under the Premier's portfolio, I'll begin a conversation with the media fraternity about how we can ensure the public is given accurate information and how we protect members of the public from slander, defamation, and libel. This is a time in our national life where we need continued unity to get through the challenging period ahead. Let us go forward together as one people with a common purpose. Let us encourage and inspire each other as we strengthen and improve these beautiful Virgin Islands.
Well, moving on to our next story, where in the past 5 years, District 1 has been through many challenging events, from the ravages of the 2017 hurricanes to the 2020 pandemic, all coupled with the loss of loved ones and some tragically. Well, we all have been touched in some ways by life's trials. Well, Pete Smith, District 1 resident, spoke to our Ron Grant in an exclusive interview on the weekend's Mingle and Candlelight Vigil scheduled for Saturday, May 28th, 2022 at 7 p.m. at the Capoons Bay Field. Well, he first spoke as to how the residents are doing at this time.
Well, I think the residents of the district are, with the news that's going around, have been covering a range of emotions, from sad to anger to disbelief and all these other things. But I tend to look at things as, the glass being half full and the glass being half empty. If we go back to 2017 and when Hurricane Irma was just finishing, I think everybody quickly realized what was truly important. We'd lost cars and we'd lost homes, but the most important thing was still there. We had our lives. And I think everybody, with all that's going on recently, has still gotten up the next morning and took a shower and brushed their teeth and put their clothes on and had some breakfast and went to work and still had to pay their bills. And we should be grateful that we still have the ability to get up and move on. I think every time there's adversity, there's also the seed for opportunity. And that's what we saw as we got together and spoke about, what can we do, is this opportunity for us to bring the community together and let's look at how we can move forward.
Well, he then spoke to the objectives of the event.
Objective with the Mingle is to bring people together. That's what mingling is. Once we bring people together, the opportunity then is there to be able to express new ideas and ways forward in terms of what can we do as a district. The district runs from all the way in the Towers, down to Frenchman's Key, West End, Freshwater Pond, Zion Hill, Capoons Bay, Apple Bay, Long Bay, Smuggler's Cove, right over to Carrot Bay. And each part of the district has its own dynamics. And so we brought persons from across the district together and say, let's bring the community together. Because, right after the hurricanes, that's the first thing, one of the first things that we did. We got together as a community to figure out, okay, what do we need and how can we move from where we are? And whatever happens, whether it's a hurricane, the pandemic, or whatever, the point is we can choose to look at the bad side and grumble and complain, or we can say, how can we move things forward? How can we make things better? That's one of the reasons why this event is being put on. And of course, if we create a fun, rejuvenating, exciting experience for people, it helps to lift everyone's spirits. And it takes 43 muscles to frown, only 17 to smile. And so we want to make sure that people are able to move forward in a positive way. And that's why some of the things that are involved in the event are put in place to create that environment.
Well, viewers, a number of fun activities are available for both adults and children. And residents of the 1st District are invited to come out and bring the entire family as the 1st District unifies. Well, this is a free event and is powered by a number of persons from the 1st District community and businesses in partnership. Well, for that full interview, visit all 284 Media platforms, that is our Facebook and also our 284 Media website page as well. Well, viewers, that's all we have for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284 Media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Kamal Haynes. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.